fans dream sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at On-Site Construction. If you're going to remodel your home or new construction, they are the folks to check in with. It's onsiteconstructionfl.com. Great folks over there. Give them a call and tell them JP sent you. All right, we want to welcome in a friend of the show, Kerry Irvin. She is the CEO of Operation Healing Forces that works with our Special Forces warriors and helps out them and their families. Kerry, thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
Hey, JP, I'm doing really well. Thanks a lot for having me today.
You guys have an amazing event coming up this week on Wednesday that sports fans are going to absolutely love. And tell us a little bit about it. It's called Game Changers, and you've got the big four athletic directors that are going to be there: Michael Kelly, Scott Strickland. I don't know if Scott's going to be there. He may still be celebrating this national championship for the Florida Gators.
Yeah,
Dan Radakovic from Miami. Yes, yeah. And Michael Alford from FSU. So I don't know how you're going to contain Scott, but tell me a little bit about this event you got coming up.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, how exciting was that game last night? I'm sure everybody's still kind of in awe of it. So a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, April 16th, here in Tampa at the JW Marriott, Operation Healing Forces is super excited to be sponsoring a night that is blending military insight, Special Operations Forces insight, along with sports leadership. We're really looking at an opportunity to talk about what elite means for elite leaders at this level, both Special Operations Forces as well as athletics. And you're right, we have some really great lineups. We have some senior military leaders. Some of those leaders are doing things that you're hearing about in the news every single day, battling with ISIS, working in the Middle East, North Africa, Central and Southeast Asia. So we're really excited about that component. And then the second part of the night is going to be what I think a lot of your followers are going to be very interested in. We have, I mean, I don't even know how you can talk about a lineup like what we have. It's pretty incredible if you follow NCAA sports. But we have four of the top athletic directors, vice presidents of athletics here in the state of Florida. Like you said, we have Scott Strickland, and we're already making sure he's coming in. I mean, we're really excited to hear his take on not just last night, but a phenomenal year for the Gators. We're really super excited to have him join us. And I'm sure the topic's going to come up about how they came to that championship title victory. We're going to have Michael Alford, the vice president and director of athletics for FSU, Florida State University. We're going to have Michael Kelly, the vice president of University of South Florida's athletics department, and then Dan Radakovic, the vice president and director of athletics from the University of Miami. And they're going to be talking about things that I think people watching you want to know about a little bit more, kind of pull the curtain back a little and hear what are the top leaders who are doing this day in and day out? What are the challenges that they're facing in the NCAA in light of name, image, likeness? I mean, we know we're living in the world of NIL right now. And how does that impact sports? How does that impact recruiting? And then, of course, everybody wants to know what's going on with the transfer portal. So you can best believe we're going to be having those topics come up. It's going to be moderated by Corey Alexander. He's an ESPN sports analyst. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with his work. Before that, he was a standout player with the Virginia Cavaliers men's basketball team.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Went on in the NBA. I think he played the San Antonio Spurs, Denver Nuggets, and Orlando Magic. So it's a great evening for sports enthusiasts. And the icing on the cake is that we're going to open it up for people to ask questions.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I got lots of questions. Unfortunately, I have a lightning game to do that night, and I won't be able to come because I have lots of questions, but it's going to be an amazing night. Also, you're going to honor General Michael Eric Kurilla of U.S. Central Command in the 2025 Tip of the Spear Award.
Yes.
He's going to deliver a keynote address, which I think is going to be, to your point, a lot of things we're hearing in the world right now that are going on. I know we won't get any top secret stuff, but we'll get a feeling for what these folks have to go through to protect our country and the sacrifices that they make, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So General Kurilla is the Tip of the Spear Award recipient for 2025. We are very honored to recognize his more than 3 decades of service to our nation.
Wow.
He is in the Ranger Hall of Fame, so that's pretty darn exciting. I mean, look
I
him
didn't even
up.
know they had one of those. They
They
have a
do.
Ranger Hall of Fame.
They
Wow.
do. And, you know, it's one of those things where you're impressed about who's in there, and he's a living legend. So it's really exciting that we're going to be able to honor him and his service and his sacrifice. I mean, he is a combat wounded veteran. And I encourage you, look up General Kurilla, look up his story. He's a pretty bad A dude. So we're really excited to have him come and talk to our audience and be the recipient of what we call our Tip of the Spear Award. And it's called the Tip of the Spear because that's what our nation's Special Operations Forces is. They are the tip of the spear. They're the most elite war fighters in our nation's arsenal. These are the highly trained warriors who are called in for the toughest, most complex, and most dangerous missions, often under the cover of darkness with little fanfare. They're quiet professionals. We're not supposed to know what's going on. It's vital.
Exactly.
And oftentimes it's at great personal cost, not just for these warriors with their visible and invisible injuries, but also for the families when they come back home. They all carry a very unique burden, and that's one that extends well beyond the battlefield, well beyond the battlefield. Their families, we believe strongly that their families serve too, the spouses and the children, the caregivers. They endure long periods of uncertainty, relocation, emotional weight that's often invisible to the outside world. So we're excited about not only bringing a phenomenal, I think everybody has to agree, this is a phenomenal, especially if you're in Florida sports, but a phenomenal sports event to Tampa, but then also really helping people to understand General Kurilla's service, what's going on right now in his area of operations. He is the commanding general of United States Central Command. So everything pretty much that you're reading about in the news, what you saw not too long ago where they took out the #2 ISIS leader, that was General Kurilla's teams that did that. So we're talking about somebody who's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on that impacts our national security. And then we're going to also honor a family here in Tampa. We have a family that's an Operation Healing Forces alumni, a young Ranger who was shot in combat on his 7th deployment. And he was shot, unfortunately, during combat operations, and he was paralyzed. He is still living as a paraplegic. He is paralyzed from the rib cage down. But his story is one of not just survival, but of how to thrive. And it's a remarkable story. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now, but I'm excited to let this Tampa native come out and shine in front of a Florida audience and let them meet him personally and hear his story of overcoming such a tremendous challenge and then how to actually help others, inspire them to thrive. But that's what we do at Operation Healing Forces. We do wraparound services for those that sacrifice so much on behalf of our entire nation. We do therapeutic retreats for them when they come back. We do opportunities to bring couples back together. I mean, you may not know this, but Special Operations Forces has one of the highest divorce rates, suicide rates.
I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're stepping in with that. And then we also help with immediate needs. We have a tremendous program. We do about $1 million a year in just immediate needs and crisis support, providing financial assistance to these families when they need it most and when there's no government means for them. And we're only able to do that because of people like y'all, people that are interested in hearing these stories and learning more about them and learning how they can help support. And I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that when you talk about commitment, we're also talking about our board of directors, and they're committed to covering 100% of all of our overhead. So I love being the CEO of an operation where I get to say Operation Healing Forces, every dollar donated to us goes to families like the Dunns, to the families that we serve. Yeah, every single penny.
That's awesome, Kerry. And I got my dates wrong, so I actually will be able to be there. It's April 16th, right? April 16th, a week from Wednesday.
Yes.
It is going to be an amazing event. I cannot wait for it. How do people get involved if they want to sponsor a table or just attend the event?
Well, I'd love for them to, there's a couple of different ways. We do have table sponsorships, which we absolutely encourage people to do. Even if you can't make it, we have, as you can imagine, the Home of Special Operations Command is here in Tampa. We have a lot of veterans that would love to come to an event like this. But tickets for individual seats or for tables can be purchased online at www.operationhealingforces.org. Or you can reach out to info@ophf.org. So that's info at Oscar Papa Hotel Foxtrot.org. Those emails can come directly to me at kerry.irvin@ophf, and we'll get everybody hooked up. We don't want anybody to miss out on this.
So go to the website's operationhealingforces.org. We have it on the screen right there. Go check it out, and all the information is right there. I don't know what I'm more excited about, hearing from the athletic directors or General Carilla. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's going to be an incredible night. And most guys like me, sports guys, the folks that listen to this, they're very much into military as well, and they want to hear the special forces stuff too. Do you have any? You mentioned one of the Warriors. Do you have any other local stories of people that you guys have helped and how you've helped their families, so we can kind of bring it home in terms of, really relating to what they're going through? Because these are our neighbors. We don't understand. Like when you go to Publix, there's probably some special forces guys that have been doing some stuff that you'll never will hear about and never know about. Right there, they're our neighbors. They're part of our family here in the Tampa Bay area. So do you have any of those stories you can share?
Absolutely. And you're right. I mean, we are the home of United States Special Operations Command. It's right behind the gates on MacDill Air Force Base. So you're very right. We have a huge population, and we do a lot here in the local area. Lately, we've been doing a lot of food insecurity grants. So, I mean, it's really sad when you think about the fact that these service members will raise their right hand to serve our nation, oftentimes going into really deadly situations, and yet they're worried about how they're going to put food on their table. And I know this is a challenge that people across the nation face, but here in Tampa, it's particularly difficult for some of them. We do a lot of immediate needs for individuals that have suffered visible or invisible wounds, a lot of mental health support. We are doing counseling. We have virtual wellness coaching that we have going on, but we'll also do mental health counseling. We do adaptive equipment. We've had families in the area that have needed some additional adaptive equipment, maybe some modifications to their home to allow for wheelchair access. We'll do things like that. We do transportation to and from medical appointments. We've done a lot of family mental health counseling lately too. Children. I mean, you're not just talking about the war, you're talking about the impact that it has on the lives of the children. And then, of course, we are surrounded by donors here in the area, and we have a unique model where we provide our therapeutic retreats in very emotionally and physically secure environments, and that's usually a home. So many of the people in this area are very generous to open up their homes for us because they'll be gone, right? So we know a lot of people leave or it's coming up. So during that max exodus, we have people that open up their homes and allow us to do our therapeutic retreats there, which really allows us to provide more opportunities for healing, reconnection of the couples, and then being able to have that very vital peer connection so that they have somebody that they can turn to. These therapeutic retreats have been proven to be very, very successful in the long term. Long-term impacts is what we're really looking for. And Tampa has a growing population of people that help support that.
Yeah. Well, Kerry, this is going to be an amazing night. Again, operationhealingforces.org. Normally these four gentlemen are at each other's throats on the field. These ADs, their every day is to beat the other guy, right? But tonight, this particular night, they're going to come together and share a very special evening. So if you're a fan of any of these different USF, FSU, UF, and Miami, you'll hear from your athletic directors what's going on. So, and of course, the great stories of General Carilla. So it's going to be a great night. Kerry, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to do so. And we'll be there. Can't wait for it. It's going to be great. And we'll keep giving the folks all the information so they can get involved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Kerry Irvin, CEO, Operation Healing Forces right there. That is going to be one heck of an evening. So go to the website, get your tickets, sponsor a table. I think we all say this all the time, Tim. If we met one of these gentlemen or ladies that are involved in these special forces and the sacrifice that they make, we would say, what do you need?
Yeah.
How can we help? How can we help? Here's a chance. Here's a chance. And what Kerry said there about every dollar going to the families because their board of directors covers their expenses.
That's a big
I don't know
deal.
if I've ever heard that from a charity. I don't know, because there's, unfortunately, there's a lot of charities sometimes connected to the military where that's not the case.
Yeah.
But this one I know for a fact is, it's very highly regarded. The people that are involved in this are the absolute cream of the cream. They are the best. And so I highly, highly encourage you to reach out to the website, get involved in the event, because you're going to want to give money anyway. I know a lot of people that watch this show, they have the means to do so, and they're also patriots.